Well, yeah, I sent to the group the basis of our first re-recording bit here, and that was because, again, that episode I just hadn't unmuted you guys. I didn't, I guess, check my levels like a fucking amateur. Um, and then life cut in, and we were only 50 minutes into the episode when Lily had an emergency. So it was like, in no way fortuitous that you had an emergency, but for the recording, we only need 50 minutes of that. So that's cool that we only need 50 minutes. So yeah. It's basically just the lead up to the thing. Lily checks out the room alone before we like meet up. Not a lot of information is grabbed there, so like we don't particularly hit all of these points. Okay, but the main point is that during the car, Slippy, Cookie, and BBW were like holding up Mr. Blood and Carl by like grilling Mr. Blood over the walkie-talkie about the various, I don't know, questions you could have. We did not know yet that it was Carissa. We found out, I mean, she was on the suspect list, of course, but we had no definite answer to Carissa until the end of this conversation when Cookie did like a spout lore to put some stuff together, and I said that like every now and then Cookie, like when the attacks were occurring, Cookie would see Carissa futzing around in her purse for some reason or another. So that clue is important, and then just kind of grill Mr. Blood about some of the suspect lists on his ship, life insurance, etc.
Do we yet know about the fact that the robots were coming from the ship, or was that something we
Yes,
discovered
we
later?
literally just found that out at the end of the episode before this. So,
Awesome.
basically the last episode right before this left off, you guys just found out that these robots were coming from Mr. Blood's ship himself, and then you got another image to your head of Carl leaving the Peacock with Mr. Blood and Carissa into an Uber Black. They are heading towards the arena. And we basically said like, well, fuck, both of our suspects are together and we can't discern them. So that's basically where we're picking up right at the start of that. Is Carl has just gotten into the Uber and it's just taken off. And we're at Cookie, Slippy, and BBW up in the room. The Midnight Bellhops definitely inform you that there is going to be an Uber waiting for you. You just have to get down there and take it.
Uh, uh, should we call Mr. Blood, or do you think we shouldn't?
He's right here. He can hear you. I have it on speaker.
Oh, Mr. Blood.
Yes.
Sorry, I hadn't said over yet. I was actually thinking. Over.
Okay. I'm sorry. Over.
So Mr. Blood, we had a couple of questions about some persons of interest, but we can't know if the car is secure. But do you have anybody that you can think of that like would have a motive for coming after you like this?
Well, sure, son. There's a lot of people that are after my money. Lots of people want to get their hands on Blood's money, but no one's. I've had lots of attempts on my life, but no one's taken Mr. Blood's life today. I got you. You fine folks.
Any recently new enemies over?
Recently new enemies. I don't.
What about recently new allies over?
Recently new allies.
Suspicious relatives?
Well, I like to take care of all my folks. Lots of members of my family are with me on any given moment. Not directly with me. Mr. Blood looks over at you, Carl, and shakes his head. Not directly with me, but up on my ship.
You're related to Carl?
No.
Mr. Blood, would it surprise
No.
you to know
Why would he say no?
that these assassin robots that continue to pester us? Come from your very own ship, over?
I would say it definitely does surprise me that they're coming from my very own ship. That that is bad news indeed. If you'll give me just a moment, Slippy, and you can hear over the comms, Carl, you can see directly in the cab with you. You guys are getting pretty close to the arena now. I would say
Mr. Blood,
that.
we're on our way. Please don't get out of the car yet.
Well, he's pulled
Well-
out a communicator with his ship, but he puts his hand over, I guess, the comm part of it. He's like, well, we do got to get in, so our friend Carl here can check out the our arrangements and make sure they're all safe.
We need somebody to
We
guard
can-
you while that's happening.
Yeah, we can make the rounds a few times. We can go around the block while we wait for them to pull up.
Sure, we could take a few laps. We don't have too long, but I'm willing to take a few laps. And he knocks on the front window, and the window rolls down. He says, "Driver, would you mind circling the block a few times while we wait on the rest of my on ton
Entourage.
Entourage, sir.
There's the word I was looking for.
Entendre.
While we wait on the rest of my entourage to
Well,
pull up." And the driver nods and rolls up the window, and your car speeds past the arena and begins to circle the block.
We are on our way.
Sure, just make sure that you make it quick. And he pulls his hand off of the communicator, and he calls up to his ship. And oh boy, I'll never remember what the voice sounded like. Not like it matters now. He brings up a communication line with his ship, and you hear a hello over the communication, and he says, what's his name? We'll go with Jenkins because I don't remember his name. Jenkins, would you mind giving the ship a thorough once over with the security team in tow? Seems like we've got a rat aboard our midst. Someone's been launching some assassination attempts from our very ship at myself. If you wouldn't mind giving the ship a good clean once over. And you hear Jenkins say, "Well, yes, of course, sir. I'm truly sorry. We'll get right on that." Mr. Blood hangs up the line. He says, "I've got my Mr. Slippy and crew. I've got my my right hand man doing a search over on my ship. We'll find out who's at the bottom of this. But off the top of my head, I wouldn't quite know who it is. I trust everyone in my employ aboard my ship."
That means that we can't trust anyone that you trust because clearly at least one of them you're wrong about. So
Oh no, he trusts us
can't
though.
cancel out anyone. Yeah, I think it's
I trust
Slippy.
you though, Carl.
Well,
accidentally-
lock me
you
up,
accidentally-
sir.
Well, fuck.
I did it.
Did I just hear BBW
Blood.
over the microphone there?
I was just wondering if we accidentally may have left those bots in your ship. I don't know.
Have you been aboard my my ship, Robert?
BBW, why would you say that?
Maybe can you mute his mic for a second? Did we do that?
No.
No. Oh,
Wait,
but
did
Ignore
you
him,
do
Mr. Blood.
that?
Cookie the Cook here. I have a question for you.
Sure.
Who stands to gain if you are assassinated? Like, why are they after you here?
Yeah, obviously they don't just get your money if they kill you. That would be a wild system.
No, this is a fine point. There's not many cases in which my death might result in the exchange of my money. Well, let's see. There could be life insurance policies, although I doubt my children are behind this. There is an extensively large bet on my own horse for this race, as well as, oh fuck, I don't remember her name. That's me saying that in his voice. As well as one of my business competitors. She's in this race as well. She has an extensive amount to gain from defeating me in the horse race, but We've always had a pretty above-board rivalry. I don't know that she would go this low in order to assure her victory.
Yeah, she's probably never been on your ship before, huh?
Yes, and I don't particularly allow my business competitors aboard my own home base.
That's probably a good policy.
Just,
I'd like to think so.
killer robots.
Well, I don't
Is
know.
I'm just saying,
is
now's not the time to
assassinating her
toot your own
first
horn,
an
dude.
option?
That's a very good point. I'm sorry, what
Yeah,
did you
keep
say,
him in
Cookie?
line, Carl.
Is assassinating her first an option?
I'm not one to just lash out at a possible suspect. If we can get absolute proof on her, I might be able to get behind launching an attack. But again, we're just asking for suspects. I'm definitely not sending my goon
I think this
squad out
definitely
to.
sounds like our best option, honestly.
Hmm.
Is to just find and kill this lady before any more robots show up.
Oh, sure,
Side
sure,
quest,
yeah,
side
but
quest.
again, I'm not gonna get quite behind that until we have any sort of proof of her guiltiness. I couldn't think of the right word there.
All right, we're
Okay,
here.
we'll put it off until we find that proof, but we will find that
Slippy,
proof.
real quick before we hop out of the car.
I don't think we're actually here.
You're in the car behind us.
I don't know.
but
This whole
we went around the
city
block for you to
is a
catch up.
huge maze to me. I'm fully lost. But
Are you
would
driving?
you be able to use your skills to? Are we being followed? We've been followed a lot.
That's a good point. I've got a bad feeling about this. But not that bad of a feeling. Unless, are we fudging rolls in the?
Not that bad of a feeling is great. Not that bad of a feeling is perfect because you don't see you
don't think-
you look around
I don't see
behind
any-
you and yeah, you don't really see any specific cars behind you.
Slippy looks up from his space phone and he sort of takes a quick look from left to right and he says, "No, I don't think so."
Right back to space Twitter.
And Mr. Blood says, I do appreciate, Carl, you guys have gone the block a few times at this point. And he says, I do appreciate the thorough once over, but we do gots to get in there and check out our box. You folks close behind, and Slippy, BBW, Cookie, you guys are all, I mean, you guys are about halfway there. They've been circling the block, much closer than you were when you started this conversation, I guess.
So Slippy turns off his walkie-talkie and he says to BBW Cookie, "All right, so as much as I would hate to suspect, just kidding, I absolutely suspect Carissa. We need to figure out a plan to get inside of her bag. This isn't the first time that I've had to get inside of Carissa's bag, but this is a much more complicated situation, surprisingly."
Wow, I didn't know you could fit inside there. You really gotta show me how to do that.
And
But think
can
of
we
it.
just
Bigger on the
take it?
inside.
I mean, but what if we're wrong?
I mean, if we're wrong, we're just inside
then
or
we
in the
give it
bag.
back and we say we're sorry.
And we just killed the lady.
That hasn't gone very well for me in the past, Cookie.
One of you three talking about this bag, give me, or all three of you even, give me a spout lore on this situation.
9.
Putting some of these facts together about Carissa. We got a 9
I
from
got a
Slippy,
6.
a 6 from Cookie,
Cookie Mark's experience.
11.
and an 11
Oh
from
yeah, make sure you mark
BBW.
your experience, Cookie. Don't forget.
The three of you are going over what yeah.
Cookie's got so many levels to level. It's gonna be great.
The three of you are going over what details you've seen or know about Carissa using Slippy's incredible experiences with her to
And none of them make you feel good.
Yeah, none of them are tainted by emotion at all. They're all cold, clean, what happens?
They're all
And
objective facts, but they make you feel bad.
yeah, that's exactly how Slippy speaks. In BBW, you seem to recall that every single time that you've been with Carissa, um, I'll say that with you mentioning some of these times, Cookie and Slippy are able to put together the other times, and that in pretty much every time you guys have been with Carissa, there has been, I mean, every time you've been with Mr. Blood, you've been with Carissa, but there's been an attack, right? You were attacked at the casino. You were attacked in the car. You were attacked at the breakfast spot. At the casino, Cookie and Slippy remember her digging through her bag at some point right before the attack. The bookshelf opened and then the attack started almost like it was set up, right? Then you
We knew
guys
right
got
where we were.
down to the car and Cookie remembers her digging through her purse at some point. She pulled out like a stick of gum or a makeup brush and applied the makeup afterwards, and it didn't seem like anything after that, but the car caught up to you pretty quickly after that, and all of a sudden there was a big car shootout at the breakfast spot, BBW. You remember her very clearly, like tapping into her purse on something. Not that, again, she came out, we'll say, with like a little handkerchief to like dab her mouth or something, so easily passed off. But at all these moments she's been dabbling in her purse or bag that she's been carrying with her. And Mr. Blood says to you, Carl, I think it's about time. And he knocks on the window and he says, I think it's about time we get into the into my box. If you don't mind pulling over to the front, I think my security officer here needs to give the room a once over. And the driver nods and the car pulls right up to the front. You guys are about 3/4-ish of the way there. Carl, as you folks pull up, the Penguin Man, the security officer who is in charge of the security here at the arena, comes out of the front of the arena with an entourage of
My favorite
guards.
character.
Yes, Lawrence's favorite character. An entourage of guards, robots, aliens, none of which are the Chrome bots, but just, a varied group of guards accompany the Penguin Man, and he comes up to the door and he opens it for Blood, and he says, let's see if I can get his voice. Well, we
Yes.
would like thank you.
Almost.
We would like to welcome you to the arena once again, Mr. Blood. And he bows as Mr. Blood steps out of the car. And his guards form up lines on either side, sort of pushing back what crowd is there up to the door. And he says, if you'll accompany us right this way. And Mr. Blood says, why, yes, my security officer must give the room a once over before we get in there. He says, well, we of course have given the room a once over, but if you want your security officer to do just the same, that could of course
Well,
be.
if you've given it a once over, I'll be sure to give it a twice over then, just to be sure. That way we're doing different overs.
Overs.
It won't overlap, don't worry.
Sure, we don't want to overlap. And you guys go right up the steps and into the front door. The group of guards does a good job of keeping most of what crowd there is off of you guys. At most, there are people kind of trying to rush Mr. Blood, asking for money. They're like, please give us some money, and he's like breaking chips off of some credit chunk in his pocket and tossing them out to the crowd. But
Oh, okay. I was gonna roll to slap him.
well, you guys aren't quite there yet.
You're not there.
You guys are still in the
Oh,
car
okay.
rolling up. This is just
Trust me, if I was there,
Carl
I'd be
and
rolling to
Blood,
try and take them too.
basically with Carissa and some bodyguards as you guys are still pulling up.
Title one of these episodes "Blood in the Water."
Blood in the Water would be good. There was Blood in Chrome was an episode I was very excited about. Blood in the
Just popped
Water.
into my head, sorry.
Yeah, no. That's fantastic. I'll keep that. It'll be in the recording, so it's even better. I'll rehear it. I'll be like, yeah.
Oh, that's the episode. Carl said the episode title.
Carl said the episode title.
Whoa.
Now all this will be in the recording too.
Well, Not if I cut it out.
Yay.
This is masterful editing. This is where the editing comes into play.
But leave this part in.
Yeah, then they'll really be
Just the part where we're
confused.
talking about taking it out.
Yeah.
You didn't want to hear that part anyway, don't worry. We cut it out for a reason.
Carl, you guys approach the door to the blood box in the arena. As you open it up, the bodyguards stand behind you, Blood stands behind you, the penguin man is behind you. They're all looking at you sort of expectantly. And as you look into the room, there is there's a bartender already sort of prepping drinks behind the personal bar, but that's really the only person in here.
Gotcha. I'm going to try to discern realities and see what's going on with this place.
All right.
Take a little look around. Cool. I get more experience. I'm gonna be such a high level when we get home.
Everyone's going to be so high level. You peek around. I think at most you're distracted by the actual races. The racers seem to be doing warm-ups or I don't know, skirmishes isn't quite the word, but like little bouts before the big race, like
Sparring.
yeah, kind of like sparring. And these
Great sparring.
horses are different than, I guess, the horses that we know. They have canine-like bodies with these 4 legs coming off of each sort of corner, coming out and down, each with a knee in the middle, and sort of human-like hands. Their head, a mixture of dog and horse.
Not good.
Really
That
gross.
sounds like a horse to me.
But really, yeah, maybe. But really agile. As you are distracted by them, you're seeing them like tear up the course. The course is also not like a straight track, like a sprint Olympic stadium, where it's just like flat ground in a circle. It's broken up by equal amounts, but each lane is broken up by pitfalls and walls and various like obstacles that these things have to overcome. And as you're watching, they're like nimbly overcoming them, shockingly nimbly overcoming these obstacles. They're climbing up them, they're like leaping across big pits. Some of them are like climbing down and climbing up with extreme speed. It's just like a really disconcerting thing, I think, to watch. But as far as your search of the room goes, there seems to be nothing quite out of place. The bartender is just prepping, various garnishes and such to go on top of cocktails, which you check over, but none seem to be out of place or, I don't know, like poisonous or bombs or whatever.
Any cameras inside the hot dogs?
No cameras. You check every hot dog bun for cameras and microphones, much to the
No cozy
protest
cam.
of the Penguin Man.
Reason good. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna be making food.
Ruin all the
That's
food.
true.
The cook is on the way.
And your food won't have any cameras in it. I
It
think.
won't.
Cameras, sure. There's a different ingredient we
cameras.
have to be worried about here.
Or should we start calling those cameras too?
Slippy, Cookie, BBW, your car pulls up to the arena. There is a pretty large crowd out here kind of moving into the arena, getting ready for the start of the main races for the day. And yeah, you folks step out.
All right, really quick, BBW. It is Carissa's birthday today, and we need to figure out what type of present that she would want. So we need to get into her bag without her noticing so that we can figure out what type of thing she needs for her bag.
I need to get inside her bag to
Without
figure
her
out,
knowing.
without her knowing,
Uh-huh.
to find out what she
surprise.
needs for her bag. I can't just ask her?
No, because it's a surprise.
Because then she'll know. Yeah.
Oh. Oh,
No,
I
but
get
Lily
it.
knows. Lily knows how surprises work.
Yeah, I text Carl, and the text is need Carissa's bag.
Text us
LMAO.
on
Or
our
surprise.
walkie-talkies.
Or surprise, lol.
All right,
The
and then we
three
go
of
up.
you give me discern realities on your way into the arena.
8.
Mm, 7.
Cookie.
Oh wait, what am I rolling?
A discern reality. No, sorry. This is all re-give me those numbers, you can keep your rolls, but defy danger wisdom, I apologize.
9 then.
8.
Does yours change at all, Dante? If it's defy danger wisdom rather than discern realities?
Oh, wait. Wait a second. No.
Okay. The three of you moving through the crowd, you're all the crowd is pretty heavy here. At some point, the crowd begins to push through all of you, and break you folks up, but not wanting to get broken up. Slippy and BBW's quick thinking, huddle the group together, maybe using BBW's extra extendo arms to sort of act as a crowd leash for the few of you folks to not get lost amongst this group as you move up the stairs. And Slippy, you're able to help with that by herding Cookie back over to the group. Cookie, you notice at some point a flash in the crowd moving amongst the faces. One of these chrome robots dip in and out of the crowd. You lose track of its direction, like where it's heading, where it's going. You can't find it again after this, but you know it's there in the crowd and you know it's following you.
Guys,
Yes.
robot,
Again.
4
What?
o'clock.
4
Oh.
o'clock. That's when they're gonna come.
Is that her birthday?
It's her birthday, 4 o'clock.
Good
She
eyes,
got old
Cookie.
fast.
We'll have to
Oh,
let
goodness.
everybody know. So let's not tell Mr. Blood yet, so that he doesn't get stressed out. You know how important this race is to him.
But you guys know it's there.
And I hate it.
And I hate it. And I think that's perfect for our re-recording. Like, literally, that's all we need, because the rest, like,
okay, great.
Yeah, we picked back up, like, right here, because this is the point. We were doing that roll when Lily had to run, so we just, like, finished describing it, and then Lily came back and was like, nope, gotta go, and so we ended.
Great.
That's where we picked back up on the following recording, which actually did work, so. Perfect.
I liked this ending a lot better.
Yeah. I mean,
Didn't
yes,
involve
definitely for
running
the
to the
player,
vet.
Lily, it was certainly a better outcome.
Smooth recording.
Wish I
Yeah.
could just go back and redo things all the time like this.
For the rest of the
Let's
characters,
try that without the cat getting hurt.
it ended up the same, but at least the cat is okay during this recording.
I'd be way too self-referential if I had time travel.
I'd always be making jokes about what had happened, and people would be like, "Is that about to happen?" Like, no.
Not anymore.
Perfect. So now we're in the future. That's the sound of time travel,
Well, it's
and
still the past.
Come on, we were already in the future.
we were already in the future.
It's a space RPG.
Always has been.
Always has been. Fair enough. And in the last episode, I guess, what happened? You guys worked together with Cola to push your way into the engine. Most of it was pretty conversational between you and Creation, who
Yeah, he was able to talk us out of killing him that episode.
Talked you out of killing him. You guys have had access to the button. Seemingly would still have access to the button to do just that. But you do know that timeline is going down. Like, he is currently doing work to fix that problem. Which was
why we have to have a town meeting.
Yeah, his whole goal was to do that, fix that problem. But until it is fixed, it is still a problem for him. So that button or lever really could be pulled at any moment. When pulled, you know that it will turn on the warp engine and the ship will warp. So you got to be prepared for that as well. But he is in the process of fixing that to where that can just be pulled without him dying, because his roots are kind of ingrained into that at the moment.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess currently we don't 100% know that would kill him.
Right. I just wanted to,
but it does kind of seem that way.
You know, leave it. Yeah. I guess that is totally fair. That is the going theory anyway. At the end of that conversation, Marjorie appeared in the room just to sort of solidify her standing in that she didn't want the community to freak out. She felt that she was making the right decision for everyone, and sort of that the masses, I guess, I don't know if she said anything along these lines. I guess she just felt that she was making the right decision for everybody and keeping it from them and just jumping them out of the hold of the back Atmos star system. But you guys have sort of left that situation. We can sort of pick it up, I think, with you folks all having returned to your various living quarters. It is the following day when you all receive, it's pretty early in the morning, you all receive a summons for an officers meeting is definitely what it's called. And that's it. It's just like a little sheet of paper slipped under your door. It says officers meeting in 1 hour. It's slipped under the door of, like, the front door of Slippy, BBW, and Carl's apartment, as well as Hyatt Cola's apartment. And you know that in about an hour there's going to be an officers meeting. Is there anything anyone wants to do or do before attending this officers meeting?
Gonna prepare a mini birthday cake.
For whom?
The officers.
Everyone. Okay, cool. Perfect.
It's gonna be made of metal though, because I can't cook. BBW can't cook. He's only a toaster.
So
Have you always
bring cakes?
Have you always procured birthday cakes, like, from elsewhere?
Yet there was a cookie to make him cakes.
There was a
Oh,
cookie to make cakes.
damn. I never really thought about BBW not being able or not being able to make his own cakes. Sick.
He's been able to make
Doesn't
his
BBW have money? You could go and buy it. Do you not know about that you can buy cakes?
Good point.
I just want to know about BBW lore.
He's
I
got
don't
to
think
know
he's
he can
ever
buy cakes if he knows that he can't make them.
Maybe he doesn't know that's why he makes them out of metal.
Have
He knows you
all
can buy
of
other things.
have
You can
all
buy
of his
ingredients.
parties been like? Does he provide the
Cakeless?
cake at most of the parties he services?
He provides a service. He doesn't provide the cake.
Okay, I guess that's just
This makes more
included
sense
in
then.
a package in my mind, but not necessarily in the BBW package. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
The package includes a BBW and a cake.
Not
That's
necessarily
really all
that
you need.
BBW made the cake. That's very fair. Okay.
The cake's not included.
It doesn't say cake made by BBW.
Yeah, okay. I just hadn't read the fine print. That's on me.
Cake
This-
may or may not be made by BBW. Cake may or may not be metal.
a bunch of notes I should have read before eating. Does
Oh, no.
anyone else have anything to prepare or do before going to this meeting?
I think Slippy is just gonna load his gun. His big gun.
Oh, the
Super
big
gun.
gun. Interesting.
Kind of meeting we have him. Jesus.
I'm not gonna bring a little gun to an officers meeting.
Okay.
Compensating?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm scared. This is Big Gun.
Why do you think I bought this big gun? I bought this big gun as soon as my life fell apart.
Does Cola have anything to prepare before this meeting?
No. Cola's at the canteen,
Has he been at the canteen since last night?
basically. Yes.
Cola has all that he needs, which is alcohol.
Okay, then I guess at some point for you, probably like 30 minutes after this, Cluster walks up to you, Jorgensen, your assistant, and he sits next to you at the bar. He slides the note over
Cola's
to you.
passed out.
He knocks on the bar for the bartender, whom comes over and pours him a drink, some amber liquid, and he shakes Cola awake.
And he pours it onto Cola.
Sir, I got there's a note dropped off for you.
What? Huh? Ah, Buster.
Yes, sir. Yes, boss. There it is. Yes, boss. Did you have a rough night?
Buster. I think we've been working for the bad guys.
That's okay. That's a lot to process first thing in the morning, boss. He takes a sip from his drink. He says,
Morning.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's pretty early. He looks down at his clock. He says, it looks like there's an officers meeting this morning, boss, and they want you to attend.
Oh. Well, then barkeep.
It's in about 30 minutes, boss.
Barkeep.
The barkeep strolls on over to you. A tall, green, lanky creature. Its limbs fold at 90-degree angles on the floor as they drag behind it. What can I get for you? Can you pay your tab from last night?
Yes, and I also need a cup of extra strength stim beverage to go.
All right. And Cluster actually puts a credit chunk down on the counter. He says, "This should be able to cover it. We gotta get moving. Can we get that to go?" And he says, "I could get it going as quick as possible." And within a few minutes, he brings back a smaller cup of it's in styrofoam. This dark brown beverage, hot and steaming. And he says, "All right, boss, we gotta drink it." Perfect. It's fucking hot. It's really hot. It burns your throat like.
Do I take damage? No, I don't. I have 3 armor.
Well, this is inside your body. Give me a defy danger constitution. Since you approached if you took damage or not.
Quick have a look. All right. That's my constitution. 11.
Totally fine. It hurts. It's hot, but you do that sort of breath afterwards to cool down your throat.
Stim beverage.
And
right,
yeah, I mean you're zapped awake. And Cola is moving quick. He's like, "All right, boss. Well, normally before these meetings, I like to give you all sorts of information about what they're going to be about, but there wasn't an officers meeting scheduled, so I can't find anything in the system about what this is going to be about, nor do I know why you're invited."
It's all right. Buster, I know.
Oh, okay. Care to share, boss man?
All right. I mean, if working for the bad guys was a lot to process, this might be quite something for you. But there's a flesh monster living in the base of this station. And maybe it's friendly. We're having a meeting to decide what to do about it, I think. And also whether or not to leave the the Federation. It's a pretty heady meeting, it seems like.
And you two are at the door to the bridge and command center. As it slides open, Cluster's mouth is left half agape as there are BBW, Slippy, Carl. Have you three made your way here yet, or are you three are you three rolling in? Did you roll in a little early? Did you roll in on time? Did you roll in a little late? What's your process, just so I know what to describe when Hyatt Cola's rolling in at this
Slippy
time?
went in early. Slippy went in probably shortly as soon as he saw the note, and he is seated in a chair facing away from the door. And he makes no motion to look at Hyatt Cola whenever he comes in.
Arl is also there, but he's
Fair, maybe.
camouflaged in the corner.
BBW is not trying to hide, but he's just on the ceiling.
Perfect. So yeah, Cola, as you walk in, as this door opens, and like I said, Cluster's mouth is left
Cola's dragging Cluster with him. Cluster's coming to this meeting now.
slightly ajar. Marjorie stands up as you enter. All of the officers are here, and Marjorie says, I think that this conversation is best left to those in I don't know, higher positions. And she's sort of eyeing Cluster.
Slippy slams his hand on the table and he stands up and he says, "That's why we're in this mess. We need to decide if he can know or not. So I say he stays and he can know."
All the officers are sort of, you have Shaq, you have Bear, there is a
You have Slippy.
screen. You have Slippy, Carl, and BBW, of course. There is a screen up on the hanging down from the ceiling where you can see an amalgam of various lights and stuff that all of you folks recognize as core at this point. Dr. Porpoise, his assistant, is here. Marjorie is here. Not Marjorie Vernon. Nope, she's the captain. Old Lady Weathers is here as well. Lots of officers, maybe some we haven't named, I'm sure. And yeah. She says, guess that's fair. I guess your assistant can join us too. There's an extra chair, of course. And she says, if everyone wouldn't mind being seated, I'd like to get this underway. And all of the officers take their seats. BBW, do you remain on the ceiling?
Yes.
Carl, do you remain camouflaged?
Yep.
Okay.
And Slippy remains standing.
Okay. There are two seats on one side of the table for Cola and Cluster.
Slippy sits after they sit.
Cluster, Cola pulls out a chair for Cluster to sit, and then stands directly behind Cluster's chair.
One second.
Excuse me. It prevents me from banging my fist on the table.
Just bang the fist on Cluster.
Okay. I guess that can be fine. Marjorie says, she stands too in her chair and paces a little back and forth, before turning to the table and says, Rake is also there. Sure. He looks a little grumpy. He's in a chair next to hers. He's not actually his body language is facing away from her. He looks pretty upset. And she says, I have been holding something from most of you. We have been facing a situation that I thought that I had my hands in control of. And recently, I would say it's been pointed out to me that maybe my interests are not necessarily the interest of everyone aboard our station, and therefore I would like to approach with you folks about the best course of action. And Bear gruffly grunts, and Shaq says, "Out with it, Marjorie. Please, I have stuff to do today."
Yeah, Marjorie, tell him about the flesh monster.
Uh,
Tell him
yes.
every gory detail.
Okay, very forward. Good place to start. Okay,
Slippy sits down.
maybe not the best place to start, but we'll get there for sure. As all of you are aware, there was a large explosion on the station nearly a decade ago, taking out access to our warp engine, and the officers are all nodding and like giving grunts of protest to this situation. Yeah, we should have been able to expand our expansion. Blah blah blah. And she says, yes, uh, during the past, I guess 10 years or so, while this has been a problem that we have been facing, there has been a new inhabitant aboard our station, mostly due to the explosion, whom has shown me a number of things about our
Don't say shown me, it sounds culty.
okay, yeah, who has
Who said that?
revealed to me a number of things, who
Illuminated my eyes.
has illuminati'd my eyes and shown me
That's how you pronounce that, right? Right?
has revealed to me a number of things about our gracious rulers, and hmm, hard to parse all this in one sort of go through.
Big
But
all of revolution.
I have been working with this individual to separate us from the home offices of the back Atmos star system, she whispers. And yeah, and Rake says, "Why don't you let them know exactly what you've hidden from them?" And he seems just pretty enraged. She says, "I understand that you're upset, my friend." And he scoffs at this, and she says, I, I never meant to hide anything from any of you particularly."
Slippy scoffs.
Sure, well deserved. I just wasn't 100% sure who I could trust aboard this ship. But last night, these four brave, let's go with, what are these three brave specialists and Agent Cola, broke down the walls of my secrecy quite a bit more, and I find myself unable to progress down this
Continue lying.
sure, path that I have
Call a
started,
spade a spade.
um that I have spaded. um uh and Bear stands up and he says, just tell us what this is all about, Marjorie."
Yeah, tell him about the flesh
Captain
monster.
Marjorie,
Yes.
if I may present a less biased version of events.
Sure.
Let the man speak.
Okay. If you want to put it that way.
As long as he keeps his pants on, he could speak.
He's promised nothing.
Sure.
A research experiment on this station went wrong.
Mm-hmm.
An unknown life form was combined with a unfortunate scientist who create a wholly new organism. This organism, deeming itself It has lived aboard our station, entwining its roots within within the station since then. This organism has its own goals and its own motives, namely to free itself from the confines of the back Atmos star system, whom it deems to be oppressive and xenophobic. This organism contacted and recruited Captain Marjorie to its cause, and the two of them worked together to keep creation a secret from all of us to its goals to acquire the technology necessary to vacate this system, enabling our hyperdrive and leave this system for parts unknown. However, this organism has a weakness. The very the very hyperdrive that it wishes to activate to escape the back Atmos would also be its demise without proper technological advances. Advances which it is, in fact, as of this exact moment, attempting to enact.
The table
Yeah, what he said.
goes mostly silent, save for Slippy. And everyone looks over at Marjorie and Gabe, can you say creation for me? Just say creation.
Yeah, I thought it cut out too.
Creation.
Fuck yeah, thanks. I'll cut that right on in there. The Marjorie looks at the table. The table is silently facing towards Marjorie. She says, okay, that was admittedly less bias than my approach. And Shaq says, is this true? She says, it is. Sure, creation is trying to free itself from the confines of the back Atmos, but it has proven to me that we all should be trying to free ourselves as well. It has shown me so many horrible things that the back Atmos star system has commanded or had their hands in, that I didn't feel safe having our community run by this group any longer, and we are uniquely in a position to separate ourselves from these oppressive confines of the back Atmos star system. Sure, it has a weakness, but it revealed to me so much, so many secrets that I did not take action upon this weakness. If I recall correctly, the four of you had opportunity to take just the same action last night. Why did you not?
We did take it into our own hands, Marjorie. We are a part of a community. A community, it is in 53% of a spaceship. And by golly, I think all 53% should have a chance to decide their fates. We can tell them all this information quickly, I guess, and we could make a communal effort, and we could all have a vote to decide what we should do about the flesh monster as a community, rather than just one of us deciding a thing. Which in this situation, I think is. And then Slippy sits back down.
Given this precarious state of events, I see two paths forward for all of you. Either we vote together as a collective to decide our new fate given these circumstances, or I believe a change in leadership is necessary. If we can, among this table, find someone more suitable, more trustworthy to be our captain, then perhaps we may leave it up to them to make that choice. As an outsider, I will absent myself from any voting and acquiesce to whatever the decision is. But given an outsider's perspective, these are the choices that I see.
You have, well, some of you, most of you have all trusted me at some point, in order for myself to find myself where I am. I made these decisions as what as I thought were a part of my station, to do what is best for those living aboard the Delta Dawn. If the decisions I made were not the best for everyone, then I am willing to step down. But what I thought that it would be the best decision for everybody. We have people here that still contact the 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 back Atmos star system, the orbital galactic orbiter. We have people that are eyes on the inside. This is something we have to be very careful just telling the station about. If they're aware that we are attempting to escape, they will bring a hell down upon us that we have yet to see, even just missing 60% of our station for so long. You showed up here, Cola. Yeah, I did not report this, and all of the officers are nodding their head. None of my officers have reported anything to you, and yet reports still made their way back to you. This would not be much different. One quick announcement to the station, sure, we might be able to get those who are on board, but what do we do with those who are not on board? Do we just vacate them into space? What do we do once they know we are doing this? Once they know this is in our plan, if this is the route we choose to take as a community, what's to stop them from coming to stop us? I'll grant to you that not everyone aboard this station is averse to the back Atmos star system, but those that aren't could very well ruin it for those that are, and I find myself nervous as to the consequences of imposed by the back Atmos star system if it gets back to them.
Do you think we need creation to successfully vacate?
Do you have any valid reason to remove creation from the equation? Seems to only really offer actually positives. We don't, and hasn't given us any reason not to trust him. So unless given a reason to not have creation, I think that's more important than having a reason to need him. From a
Holy shit, the wall's
non-capitalistic
talking.
approach.
Holy shit, the wall is talking.
I've been talking the whole time. How are you this
The wall
blind?
is spitting facts.
You just thought that this gun was sitting on the floor next to me.
Bear stands up. He puts his
I'm
hand down
sorry,
on the
Paul,
table.
I'm only 30% sober.
He says, "Everyone must know. I will not tell them. But you should." And he looks directly at Marjorie. He says, "This is your job." And he turns and
Who said
he
this?
Bear, the combat expert of the whole station, sort of the combat trainer. He stands up. He says that I will not tell them, but you should be the one to tell them. This is your job after all. And he turns and he stomps towards the door.
Ola gets
What
in
if we
his
just
way.
open it up like a museum?
What, Officer Hyatt Cola? And he looks down his nose at you. He is imposing even to you. A large man.
Never mind.
I believe, Officer Bear, that the decision lies with all of us. Yes, the responsibility for Marjorie's failings lie with the captain. But we, the officers, may have the power to replace the captain. Our citizens trust us. We must act in a way that is worthy of their trust.
Okay,
He
new
grunts
idea.
and returns to his seat.
Why don't we have a quick election to see if the community trusts Captain Marjorie?
I nominate. Oh,
Ow.
Roasted.
Ouchie.
Friends.
Yeah. You okay, sure. Okay, and if they say they trust me, does that mean I pulled the trigger on this on my own? Like this seems to be how we've gotten to this point. That's why you four have opened my eyes, at least last night, that I should be more trusting. I know for a fact that I cannot trust every member aboard this station. Hyatt Cola's presence here is fact of that. It's proof of that fact. But
I mean,
I do trust my officers. You guys were totally right. I should try to hold trust in those that I put in positions, and I do trust you folks. If we think an election for captain is what is needed, then we can go through that again. But I've made it my way up here because I am trusted by my community.
Is that what happened the first time? Were you elected?
No, not elected, but I did work my way up. I earned the respect of many aboard the ship, and a lot of the officers are nodding. And Rake says, "Yes, you did once, but you hadn't lied that first time." I don't know, Marjorie. I threw my full trust behind you. I believed everything that you told us. I full-throatedly backed you, and and last night I was shown that you're even able to hide things from me, and I don't know. It's gonna be it's hard. It's hard to bring myself around to that you're doing it just for our benefit.
Yeah, I guess you guys are right. Doing a full town election doesn't really make sense. But it does kind of sound like one way or another we're going to have to deal with the dissenters, so to speak, assuming we do choose to put our put our plan into action to leave the star system.
Even
I'm
as
just saying,
dissenters,
my plan A was to put them on a ship and send them off towards somewhere they'd be safe, of course. Plan B, I can fire as many bullets as I can hold. So, like...
Whoa. Hey, whoa. Wow.
I'm just saying if worse comes to worse.
Sure, if worse comes to worse, we maybe could fight over it, but as dissenters, wouldn't they be better off still out of the grip? Even if they did not agree with my decisions, our decisions, if it's not up to me, would they still not be better off out of the grip of this group? Would we not be protecting them even if they disliked it?
Yeah. I guess
there is no decision.
Who gets to dictate who gets that authority, though?
I only ask because I feel as if I'm put in a position to dictate just such a thing.
Let's all go visit creation. Let's everybody come on, stand up. Come on, officers. Come on, stand up. Slippy's standing up and he's like raising his hands up to everybody. He's motioning his hands. Come on, everybody.
Are you interested in bringing creation in on this conversation?
I think creation would have an interesting way to end a conversation.
I mean, I know how I feel about creation. I know how Marjorie feels about creation. Let's just all figure out how we feel about creation, and then we can come back and decide to hyperdrive. And then
Polo
or not
puts his hand
hyperdrive.
on Slippy's shoulder and like pushes him back down into his chair.
Slippy sits back down.
There is
Well?
no course of action that will please all of the population on this ship. They have been indoctrinated in the back Atmos culture for too long for us to have unanimous consent with any decision that we make. I believe that an election among the officers will lead to the swiftest result. What we do about those who dissent is a decision I'm comfortable leaving to the new captain, whether that is Marjorie or somebody else. If we want to bring creation into this conversation, I suggest that we do it once we, the officers, have established some sort of unified front.
Are you an officer now, Cola?
No, I'm an agent.
Just checking. You've been saying "we" a lot.
I have. It is a slip of the tongue, but it does make saying the phrases easier.
No, I understand. I definitely get
I
it.
have no intention of actually voting in this we. It's sort of a royal we that doesn't include me.
I think you could have a vote.
Bear actually looks over at Cola, and he says, "Yes. Why is this agent here with us?" And he sort of is scowling a bit.
Because I, Officer Bear, am the one who uncovered this entire conspiracy to begin with.
Marjorie says, "And the rest of them as well. This is less of a direct officers meeting and more of a meeting of the minds and those aware of the situation. Let's use these four as sort of our reaction from the populace, right? They discovered just last night most of this situation, have been thrust into much of this information in the past. She looks over at the four of you and says 24 to 48 hours, I believe.
Yes. It all started when I bought this gun.
Okay, and how do the four of you respond? How your direct response to this? If we were to have just today teleported the ship into a new location, what would be your direct response when told of this information?
Would you also tell me that we did it to kill a giant flesh monster?
None of this is in order to kill creation. I'll be very clear. He has proven himself extremely useful. And none of the plans in which I have made or would like to make involve getting rid of this creacher.
Slippy's eyes
I'm with her on
narrow.
that one. Skin room's pretty cool.
Slippy's eyes narrow at you over there.
The wall. Chick.
I have just as many bullets for you, buddy.
Slippy says, "Fair enough."
What about you, Robot? How does this sit with you?
That looks like dissent, Slippy.
No, I would never dissent hard enough to require 20 bullets inside of me. Never. I'm playing devil's advocate, and I know it's a bad habit that I should stop.
Maybe they're gonna lower himself gently onto the table that they're all sitting around.
Oh,
And
fuck,
he's
you're
gonna
here?
he looks around like who?
I
Oh.
thought I was sneaky.
No, I'm Slippy.
Huh.
Da-da-da,
I swear I
da-da-da.
just heard a voice. Oh well. I'm gonna offer this birthday cake to you, Marjorie, Captain. And I offer the little metal birthday cake that I made to her.
She accepts it. I appreciate this. Does this mean that you back
What does this mean?
my plans to sort of Take this into my own hands? What does this mean from you?
It means you're 1 year older.
Creation seems to be another lonely creature out in this world. Well, this is not quite a world, this ship, but I think we should give them a chance. We
Did
should
you
go
call
see what
Marjorie a lonely creature?
No creation.
the creation. Marjorie, you're just a lonely little bitch.
You said another lonely creature.
We're all lonely creatures.
I think
Not
that
me.
If there's something that creation may want, it may be to be discovered, if anything, to stop hiding.
I think that that is a very fine point. Just because it finds itself in a position of control does not mean that it is inherently evil. How can we really know? Sure, until it does takes an evil action, but up until now, it has done nothing but show me what I believe is the truth.
All we need to give to it is maybe some trust, and I think some cake. I
Once
wasn't
it
giving-
starts asking for people to eat, we can worry about it. But until then, like, it's just chilling.
There's that voice again.
And Rake, Rake says, "So then, who are we gonna trust to make this decision? I'm not sure we can trust Marjorie anymore." And Shaq says, "Well, unless you want to be the one in charge, I don't think that I do." And Bear nods in agreement with this statement.
Buster, what do you think of all this? You've kept your ear to the ground these past 2 days. You have sort of a vibe on the populace.
You want to be in charge, Cluster?
I don't, boss. That's a big one. All the officers are now looking at Cluster, and he's starting to stammer a little bit. He's like, well, it seems like the people of this station are pretty content with life in general. I would say there's lots of folks here that definitely support the back Atmos star system, but who's to know if that's because they find themselves within its grasp right now? Outside of this room, you'd be hard pressed to find any of these officers speaking caught dead in a conversation like this, but excuse me. But behind closed doors, who's to know, boss? Everyone seems to be sort of open in this specific context. It's kind of hard. I think that there would, of course, be some dissenters, but as Marjorie pointed out, if it's so much worse here, like she says, and this is not information I know, but if it's so much worse here, like she says, maybe we might be happier, even those of us that are disappointed in this, without having them sort of over our shoulders.
Thank you, Buster.
Of course, boss.
Base
I personally,
Carl from the floor.
I personally nominate Officer Rake to be our new captain.
What?
Do we have any seconds? Does anyone second that?
Do any of you second that?
Nobody's gonna second that, Slippy continues to say.
Rake stands up
Rake?
and he says, I don't know that I'm in any position to be in charge of a ship like this. I have,
You are selling yourself short, Officer Rake.
Tell
In my
yourself taller.
experience, which I will say is short-lived here on this station, you have proven yourself to be trustworthy, loyal, and diligent in all of your work.
Also a little bit too
People around you
trusting.
trust you, and people call you captain already. It lessens the confusion.
That's true, but that's just a nickname. Everyone still be a little confused. Captain Marjorie's the captain around here.
A little. They're gonna be a little confused one way or another.
She wouldn't be called Captain Marjorie anymore. She would just be Marjorie.
Good old Marge.
Large Marge.
Bear stands and says, Marjorie can't be in control anymore. I vote Teddy Rake. And Shaq says, if Bear trusts you, I trust you. And she says, I can get behind Rake.
If Shaq trusts you, I trust you. So I'm with that.
What
What
do
say you, BBW?
what do Old Lady Weathers and the AI think? They haven't spoken yet.
That's a good point. They haven't spoken. There's just a shitload of characters.
Yeah, who do you vote for, Old Lady Weathers and AI?
The AI says, I believe that Captain Marjorie's approach has been very pragmatic. Much of the station may not agree, but most of them would be better off without the back Atmos star system. And the ones that may cause dissent, we can deal with rather easily. Old Lady Weathers actually says, I have attempted to distance myself from the back Atmos star system for much of my life, and some of that has not gone so well. The only thing I require assurance of is that if we pull the trigger on this, that we will certainly be out of their grips. Because when we try something like this, it will be far worse if they catch us than anything that I've been a part of in the past.
And who do you vote for, BBW?
I vote for you, Slippy.
I also vote for B. All right, it sounds like you're Captain Rake. You won.
AI,
Congratulations.
I guess Core says, but as she has made the most pragmatic decisions to the safety of our colony, I believe that Marjorie should be kept in charge. And Old Lady Weathers agrees with him. She says she's been keeping it the right level of secrecy. While she should have informed maybe some of us, it is understandable why she would want to keep it on the down low.
I still think you win, Rake.
Well, I agree with both of you. I want to point out that it is very important that we as officers are able to trust our captain. And clearly, with at least some of the officers here, that trust has been ruptured. So replacing Marjorie seems really important because otherwise I feel like they're going to feel like there is a rift in this hierarchy where they can't trust their own boss. At this point, if any of the officers don't trust her, we need to cycle her down to an officer because we've broken that bond.
Marjorie,
I don't think that Marjorie was wrong. I just think that we no longer have her in a position where she can properly lead.
Marjorie looks out over the table and says, if I am not the one to pull the trigger on this decision, then so be it. And truly, if anyone would have the best interests of our ship in mind, it would be you, Teddy. And he looks over at Marjorie and he says, I've spent my entire career supporting you. I don't know that I ever thought that it would come to this, but I think it might be high time I sit in the captain's chair. And she says, if that is what it takes for our community to feel safety once again, then so be it. And he says, then my first act as captain of the Delta ship
Kill creation.
Captain Rake.
is to kill creation. No, is to is to bring you on as my assistant. You've only had the best in mind for our crew, and while maybe you went behind our backs to do it, it seems that again you've only had the best in mind. So I'd like to keep you nearby. I'd like to keep you making those decisions, but maybe if we run it by me first. And she nods and says, I guess we can make that happen.
Congratulations, Captain Rake.
Oh, that's Captain Rake to you.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
And she's
I don't use first names if I don't. If
no, my
I
first name is Teddy. You can call me Captain Teddy Rake if you would prefer, but that's not the most ideal, I think.
Captain Teddy Ray was my father.
Captain
That's
Rake, it does seem that now would be an opportune moment to introduce creation to the rest of your officers.
Y'all want to see a flash room?
I'm sure it would be. Marjorie, would you do you happen to have the easiest way about that? And she says, yeah, if you'll give me just a few. And she enters into her old office, I guess, now Captain Rake's new office, and types a few things on the computer and exits the office again and says, he'll be here in just a moment. And like as she finishes saying that, another computer descends from the ceiling and flashes on, and it is a camera angle of the front of creation's human portion of the torso hanging out of the wall. There's edges of computer screens in the shot, and the whole sort of
Slippy says, "Hey, buddy."
the rest of the officers sort of gasp and are like a kind of agog at this scene, and creation says, Marjorie, what can I do for you? I wasn't expecting to find myself in front of a room such as this. And Rake says, I'm in charge of this ship now. Uh Marjorie says, it's true, creation. It felt necessary to give up the reins of the ship to my second in command, of course. Now Captain Rake, I I'll do my best to still work with you, of course, but if we could maybe chat about the plan as a whole with our officers and get them on board, we might be able to still pull this off just right, huh? And
Not the
creation.
kill everybody plan, the other one.
Ah, yes, of course. The other plan, not the kill everyone plan, creation. And creation, I guess, launches into it. He says, if this
Okay.
is if this is what it takes in order to pull the trigger, then this is what it will take. I have been a part of your ship for the greater part of the last decade and have learned many things about your home colony and the brutality they serve to the communities they pull in. And the screen flashes up to the same image that you actually saw, Carl. It's the above shot of your community with the sort of work camp, and then it flashes to a security image from a camera in this work camp, and you can see some dark abuses taking place, various, I don't know, physical abuses going on while they're working the various cephalopods in along the sides of cliffs, mining out this red rock. And it flashes to another colony of another kind of, we'll say a human colony on a forested planet being forced to chop down tree after tree by hand. And the screen flashes back to creation. And he says, these are just a couple of the various communities that you have pulled into the domain of the Back Atmos star system. Anything that they can use, they will use. Even if it is against their own morals. And he flashes to images of the invasive species committee officers letting out it's like a screen of 6 different shots of this happening in different places of like various black like armor clad ISC agents letting various aliens out of little cages and them squirming off into a different community center or different community group, and they're like, the ISC is the worst of the offenders, consistently branding communities and cultures as invasive while perpetuating, that's the word, while perpetuating their existence within their own communities. I only wish to distance myself and the community aboard this ship from their grasp once and for all. And creation draws to a silence, and Marjorie looks towards the table.
So that's creation.
And Bear is gruff. He's sitting back in his chair with his arms crossed, eyes squinted, and Shaq says, "And are we sure we can actually trust this thing?"
Yes.
How are we sure we can trust this thing?
That's what I'm saying.
It is done literally everything it can do to make itself as vulnerable as possible and as honest as possible. We have been given zero reason to distrust it other than it's ugly. So, like, given my recent ugly dead bug friend, I'm kind of anti that.
Is it not rooted into the ship? Isn't it? Wouldn't its reason for survival to free itself from our ship? How do we know that we're not leaning into this? How do we know that we're not just going to free it from the confines of our ship and then let it go?
So, what, you have freedom, why shouldn't it? You can leave this ship at any time you fucking want. Why should it just be stuck on your ship? What the fuck's wrong with you?
I guess that is a extremely fair point.
You're thinking,
and not
like
one
the
I had thought
Capitol,
of.
man. We gotta get away from this colonialist mindset.
BBW's gonna sound the air horn. Like,
Oh Christ, it's a small room. Oh no. My ears. Yeah.
Anybody hear me?
There's a ringing.
whoops.
Kidding. What's up with the air
Last
horn?
night-
Oh, it sounded an air horn. I thought it was funny.
Perfect.
Did you have something to say, BBW?
No.
Oh. Okay.
Last night?
Last night, I stood with my hand on the button that would have teleported us to a new location and in the process killed creation. I was in that moment persuaded not to, but I had every opportunity to go ahead and do so should I choose.
And what kept you from doing just that? Killing this monster, says Shaq, waving at the computer screen.
Shut the fuck up, Shaq. I like you. Don't start with this shit.
Check.
I
Carl will shoot you 20 times.
40.
was persuaded by the evidence that perhaps it is us that were the monsters.
We were the invasive
Womp,
species
womp,
after all.
womp.
Away.
Okay. This is... Okay.
You have known this thing for a couple minutes and already called it a monster and tried to kill it. So, like, maybe take a look at yourself a little
I'm just
bit.
trying to get all the information out. I only have about 30 minutes of knowledge of this thing, and it seems to
Yeah.
be rather in control of our entire station and truly our
But
livelihoods.
My point isn't that you should know better. My point is that when approached with something you're unfamiliar with, your reaction shouldn't be, "It's ugly, kill it!" Because that's fucked up.
This is a totally fair point, Carl.
Just recommending some introspection, maybe reflect on this a bit, grow as people.
We all seem to need to grow as people in this moment. Okay, all right, I'll sit back and listen in, says Shaq.
Very progressive of you.
Officer Shack, I sat where you are sitting not 48 hours ago.
In that chair?
And what kept you from pushing the button, Hyatt? What convinced you that this thing had our greater good in mind?
I am not yet convinced that our greater good is what creation has in mind. Greater good is a hard thing to put your finger on
It's another culty term, isn't it? It's a very culty term.
because any
Flags.
You
choice
guys
will
want to start a
upset
cult?
someone. No choice can be for the greater good if by greater good we mean the good of all. I believe now that actions speak louder than words. And
If that action is speaking.
all of the actions done by creation are motivated by simple self-preservation and perhaps by an instinct to preserve its environment. And I believe that in this case, we would constitute part of its environment to preserve its environment from those that would oppress it.
Look at how much it knows about us. It wouldn't learn all of these things if it wasn't watching and listening and combing through all of the data on humans. It needs entertainment. Without us, bored and lonely in space. We're its TV station. It's
Creation,
a
are you
mutually
still on the line?
beneficial relationship.
Are you still on the line, Creation?
I
That's a
would
weird way to
like
put it.
to posit that I have grown much that you all have grown much closer to me in the time that I have been watching the station. I think of you, most of
That's my
you, as
favorite
my
characters.
family, as my as those I would prefer to protect. As Officer Carl has put it, I do not wish to be alone out in this universe. Loneliness can be deadly. Uh, and Rake says, well, then what are we gonna do? We got a plan to jettison out into space? Creation, where are you at with that plan? Well, within within a month or so, I should have broken down the technology required to allow for a space for a jump through space. Within that time, I will require a little bit of help from Agent Hyatt Cola in order to bypass some of the remaining firewalls and see the truth behind separating ourselves from the back Atmos star system. And then we would need a place to go to. But if I recall, there seemed to be some sort of mentions of plans to return to the back Atmos star system, or to return to Carl's planet to attempt an aid there. I'm curious at which way your officers lean.
I believe that was BBW's pitch. I don't think we can do anything to help there.
Some of the information I require is hidden behind several levels of security that even I, with all of my connections, am finding trouble to bypass, but some of your codes may come in rather handy, Agent Cola.
Are
Let
you
me
ready to
first
betray them,
say to the
Cola?
table that I was not aware of this. However, should our decision be leaving this system with creation intact, then I am willing to assist it in any way that I am capable. I will also say that the intention to stay behind and fight injustice where it lives was mine. I'm
Marjorie.
still open to this plan given sufficient support, but it also occurs to me that injustice will follow us wherever it is that we go, and that I may have a chance to fight that injustice when it comes to us in our new spatial location.
Rake says, injustice is everywhere. And Marjorie says, so what is it that you want, Cola?
Vengeance.
Vengeance.
Hell yeah, dude.
So if we up and leave this, are you getting your vengeance, or will you leave us then after?
It will take longer, but it is my hypothesis that vengeance will follow us. The Back Atmos star system will not suffer a loss such as this lightly. They will send something after us. And when that something arrives, perhaps I will have my chance at vengeance.
Bear nods. He looks at you and he nods in agreement. And Shaq says, I think he's coming around to you. And Rake says, these are good points. So our next approach would be to trust creation. He motions up to creation and look for a way to distance ourselves from the Back Atmos Star Society as a whole. And Bear says, I still think everyone should know. And Marjorie shakes her head and puts her head in his hands. And Rake says, while I do hold Marjorie accountable for not trusting some of us, I think that I find myself agreeing that not everyone on this station can be trusted. Again, I follow her proof that the fact that Hyatt Cola is here in the first place. I think I would be nervous as well if this were to get back to the Back Atmos star system. We have absolutely no chance of this.
So we just figure out what to do with the dissenters once they reveal themselves after we've already space jumped.
I mean, when we're where we need to be, maybe there's a
They
different
can start their own
conversation that can be
society
had.
over there.
You know, maybe we provide help. Maybe we can send shipments and they can begin their own thing, and we can provide supplies as need be, not cutting them off entirely, but maybe we allow them to go through whatever they need to go through in order to find their own happiness in this new wherever we find ourselves. A lot of Marjorie, no, yep, Marjorie nods. The AI nods in agreement, and Old Lady Weathers nods. The officers seem to be in agreement of this at the moment.
It does seem like we are coming to a conclusion. That leaves a question open, however.
What's that?
Where is it that we are choosing to go?
Creation's screen flashes up, and there are 2 star courses planned from this ship. And Rake actually nods when he sees it. He says, "Yeah, this would actually be the next option for you folks. With your recent promotion to officers aboard this ship, you were going to be sent out on exploratory missions, and well, I guess if this is still in the plan, we have a couple choices of planets to go to. But now I think the plan would be more best suited rather than just deciding amongst yourselves what you're more interested in exploring to where we might find ourselves ending up. This is a tough one, is a little different approach, but if I guess creation, you're still saying we jump out to one of these possibly habitable planets, right? And creation says, yes, I do believe that these would be the best options for jumps. They are far enough away from the current edge of the back Atmos star system, and I think that it would take them longest to find us here. With some of the data that we possibly gather with Hayat Kola's information, maybe maybe that helps us decide, but these are the 2 best choices. Escaping the range entirely would be the first step. And Rake says, well, then we've got, it seems like 2 options. The only couple options we were possibly heading to next, we have a pretty heavily forested area. They're very, very far out of most of our range, but you can see what details we're able to grab here. And mostly the screen flashes in a split screen, one planet on one side, one planet on the other side. The details you get are less specific. They're much more like inferred from data, right? Like it's just like data pinging back from the planet and our ship doing its best to infer what that means for this planet. So you know that this first planet on the left, we'll say, has lots of verdant life. Lots of green is coming back from the planet, and a shitload of water, but none of which is really on the surface. The whole surface of this planet seems to be green. And the other planet is a lot similar to Earth in that it is like, you know, over half water, a little under half land. There's lots of gray on top of this, and a lot of the data reads that this planet has higher readings of technology. But they're not 100, like, again, it's not like specific data on that. It's just getting ping backs from technology. So you have like one planet of basically technology and one planet of like natural life.
That sounds like a risk. The technology sounds like a risk.
Yeah, natural life is usually sustainable. We're not positive that technology is.
Yeah, looking over the
But
data,
BBW could probably make it all work.
Rake says, yeah, this data is very weird. We haven't been able to look it over as intensely. Maybe some of our engineers in the room could give it a once over. BBW, could you give me a discern realities on this set of data? Core is going to do the same thing behind you. And then if you score well, just tell me a question from there, and you can read the data that way.
It's a 9.
It's a 9. Okay, ask me a question.
What here is useful or valuable to me?
The data on the screen is definitely giving you readouts of existing technology on this planet, whatever it is, pretty big planet. But a lot of the readouts are coming back as defunct technology. Like a lot of this technology is pinging back in a way that's saying it is off or not in use anymore. Yeah, like it's not. Yeah, like it's defunct technology being read back to you.
Huh. All these things haven't been used in like forever.
Core nods in agreement. Yes, it seems as if the technology aboard this planet is off or disconnected from a mainframe in such a way.
Hmm.
And Core actually another little like cable comes out from Core's television. It points to like, I don't know, a specific set of data on the thing. It says, "Do you see this, Officer BBW? This goes to show that fuck, what was I gonna say?
This goes to show that memory is important.
That I've lost enough RAM. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying anymore. This data point goes to show us that there is quite a large amount of livable flora livable flora above this planet, at least.
Who's hospitable?
Seems
Where do you want to go,
available for life.
creation?
With a bunch of this fun
Do
technology, though, maybe there's something else there that kind of scares me.
the access to technology could be a bit unnerving, but without access to any in the future from a home colony, we might possibly need some in the future. We will not be getting any more equipment or, supplies from the home office ever again. All of
We
our
should rack up a
supplies.
whole bunch of debts really quick.
This is
That's true,
actually
actually.
not a
That's
bad
Everyone,
idea.
we need to creation. Do you
basis
know what a
function.
credit card is? Because we need to go and max some of those out.
The moment that we start racking up lots of debts, they may begin looking our way. If we could maybe fudge the books in some way or another to get some extra supplies aboard our ship before a jump, it might not be bad without the intention of paying it back.
Yeah, I don't think there's an extradition treaty on anarchy in the middle of space.
I would agree with this.
I'm gonna
Rob
get a
a bank.
second gun.
A second gun could be beneficial.
Especially for robbing a bank.
Yeah, first we need to invent banks at the new place. I vote for technology land because I think it makes a good point. We might want defunct technology to maybe improvise or make repairs on stuff that we have. What if we need a spare bolt for BBW? We got to be able to find a bolt.
Very true. Very true. What about the rest of you? What do you say? Bear says forest way easier to hide in. And Old Lady Weathers agrees, but Shaq says, no. When this ship begins going down, we're going to need repairs to it, and we cannot find any repairs in the trees.
Forest means water.
True, but
I like water.
Water means water.
Water exists, but water exists seemingly above both these planets. I will say the forested planet oddly seems to have more, but we cannot see any proof of that here.
Yeah, but if it's forested, any water would also be pretty oxygenated, most likely, because there's probably also underwater sea life. And that really makes my life a lot easier when the oxygen's actually in the water itself, rather than me having to pop out for it.
Yeah, but there
just
is
saves
nitty on the
time.
surface.
Eh.
Huh?
That's what the plant life's for.
But how do you dive into it? I jump. That's my thing. I jump and then I dive.
That's plunking.
But is that I can't fit through like a 1-inch hole, you know?
Well, that's not my problem. I'm just talking about my selling points personally on this planet. And I don't see why.
It's my vote.
You're right. but I say technology place. That's my vote. Do
It does seem to be
we
the
tally them
winner.
up?
Well,
I think it's 3 for
Cola
tech, 2
BBW.
so far.
It looks like 3-2 for the forest right now.
Huh?
Do you have a vote on Technology Planet or Forest Planet?
Technology Planet.
3-3. Cola? Gabe?
The advantages to Technology Planet. However, there are also risks. Technology Planet would have better ways to defend themselves against any possible incursion in their eyes. Affected planet would be friendly to an entire space station's worth of refugees.
These are good points.
Yeah, but Carl can shoot 20 of them at a time.
40. I can shoot
40
40
of
of
them
them
at
at
a
a
A lot
time.
of
time.
people at one
Gosh,
time.
how
And
many
we can-
times do I have to tell you? And if
and we
I
can
buy
put-
more ammo packs, I can increase that. It's
We can
just
put a lot of ammo
bullets.
on back order, I think.
So to be clear, Gabe, which one are you voting for?
Does Cola get a vote?
Yeah, everyone in the room gets a vote.
Cola votes for Forest Planet.
Okay. Well, I'm not leaving it up to me, so it sounds like it's Forest Planet. Well, you two are Forest, and you two are Technology. That's wild.
I guess you need to roll for it.
Yes, I do need to roll
For
it.
every other NPC.
It's
As
just...
a
You wanna
player,
roll
I'm
off?
down for technology. I just think Carl wanted the forest.
No, I'll say,
As a
As
player,
the
I'm
other
down for
amphibious
either.
creature that did surprise Slippy.
Carl, high or low?
Low.
Low. Marjorie agrees with the Technology Planet, bringing it back into a flux, and Rake looks over the table and he says, I think that without any connection to future shipments of technology, that we have to be on the safe side. If we lose our ship, we lose our lives. We lose everything. We must be able to keep the ship in working order, and I think the technology-based planet may be best for that, even if the technology comes defunct. So I guess that will be our plan. I appreciate all of your input on this matter, and I guess making me captain of this ship. I never thought I would be here with Marjorie as my second in command, and she nods solemnly, and says, it sounded like there was one more step that must occur, correct, Creation? And Creation says, why, yes, I will need Hyatt Cola's aid in order to break through some firewalls to figure out exactly the plotted path we must take in order to break our connection to the back Atmos star system. This need not be done in front of the whole officers group, although it can if it must be. But if
Is
we
your
want to,
password embarrassing, Hyatt?
That we do it at the last possible moment. As soon as I enter in those codes, my agency will be aware of our intentions.
this
Yeah, and I'll try and time because I'm gonna send Carissa an email. I mean, I'm just saying I'm going to, so I'll do that at the same time that you log in, Hyatt. Because I who knows with Carissa, with who knows how she's gonna react. She might sell us to the highest bidder. She might come along. It's impossible to say.
This is an interesting turn, but we can prepare for departure. It will require a scouting of the planet beforehand, if the crew with us would be willing to do just a thing.
Oh, us? Go on a mission?
Yes.
I don't know about all that.
We gotta
I've never
scout
done a
out the
mission before.
planet.
I'll have to be assigned that mission from the captain.
Rake says, You are. We need to check out the planet."
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Okay. Great. That'll take a couple weeks of travel. By the time you are prepared and have it scouted out, do you think that you will be ready to fly, Creation? I think that I could be prepared by that time. As long as
But
I could get into contact with Hyatt Cola for our final step.
but our crew is down to only 3 members. So let's bring Lucy.
Lucy's in the back of the room. She's like, "Yeah."
Lucy's an event.
This is why I voted.
Let's send Cluster.
Rake.
Yeah, let's bring Cluster along.
Rake looks over at Hyatt Cola and says, well, you seem to be for helping us out. Would you mind lending a hand with this crew to help them scout out the planet?"
You froze for all of that statement.
Did I? Okay.
Oh, not for me.
Oh,
Yeah, just
okay.
for you.
Then
Yeah, no, my internet's bad.
Well, that's
Yeah.
okay. That's okay. He says, since our crew here is down a member, and you seem to be gung ho for helping us out, would you mind helping them scout out the planet?
If I am able to simultaneously help the crew as well as provide creation with the access codes it needs, I am willing.
Cluster says, "Boss, if you approve me to use your codes, I could help out creation while you guys are gone."
Can I get you to send an email too?
I could, sure. I guess I could send an email. I'm already working some codes. If I'm already
Perfect.
working some codes.
And
And
you can just open up another window.
I don't know how helpful I'd be on a planet that even the back Atmos star system isn't aware of. Couldn't be your eyes on the ground there, so maybe I'd be more useful here helping prepare the station.
You underestimate yourself, Cluster. But in this instance, I think your instincts are correct. I give you full permission to use my codes.
You cut
Perfect.
out.
Full permission to use my codes. Oh,
Perfect.
Oh,
However, creation needs.
All right, boss. I'll see if I can get a communicator, a long range communicator line down on your ship before you guys leave, so we can chat about what's found. But I really appreciate it, boss. I look at this feels like a promotion to me, even though that was never said, and it feels important that you're trusting me with these codes.
it's important that I'm trusting you with this email too,
Sure. Who's the email to?
Carissa. My on again, off again, duplicitous, money thievingous, lascivious,
assassin.
on again, off again girlfriend.
Assassinous ex-girlfriend. Yeah, sure. If
It
you
is
just
important that you review the dossier, Citizen Carissa, before you send that email.
Don't
She
look
may
at it
prove
too
to
closely.
be the biggest leak.
I'm not gonna tell her. I'm not gonna tell her anything about the plan, guys. I'm not an idiot.
no one
All
trusts
I'm gonna
that.
say, all I'm gonna say, and you can. Are you taking notes? Are you ready to write this down?
Yeah, of course. To
Okay.
Carissa. What's her
All
last
I'm
name?
gonna say, Svelte.
Smith.
That's a good one.
So the message is beginning now. Hi, Carissa. It's me, Slippy. You know, the one from college.
You know, the on again, off again ex-boyfriend.
Anyway, haven't heard from you in a little bit, but if you ever want to see or hear from me again, meet me on the ship at 2 weeks from now. Less than
Also,
3,
hope
less than
your
3.
arms are okay.
The S Man.
Less than 3 than less than 3. He writes that out.
Mhm.
I don't understand the last point. You're sure that's not some kind of weird code, Slippy?
No, it's a heart. Turn your head.
I can just write heart if you'd prefer. Less than 3
No,
means nothing. Oh,
no, it's a
like
heart.
less than? Like the symbol?
No, like okay, draw a less than 3. Okay, and then connect them.
He does.
Yes, the symbol.
Oh, okay,
Do
the
you see that
symbol.
now?
Yeah, okay, I'm understanding. Yeah. These are 2 hearts from Slippy.
This is
Okay.
great podcast audio.
Yeah. Perfect. That's it. I thought so too. That's why.
Explaining emojis.
Awesome.
Anyway,
Slippy's definitely an emoji texter.
you can just don't tell me what she says if she responds. Just let me know if she does.
Okay. Yeah,
I want to be surprised.
for sure. Yeah, no doubt. Rake says, "All right, then if you guys shore up, I can give you." He looks at Creation and then at Marjorie, and Creation says, "We'll need to get this on the road rather quickly." And he says, then maybe we leave tomorrow if you guys can prep and we get moving, because it's gonna take us a couple weeks to get out to this planet, and then you guys gotta do the breakdown of the planet and see if it is suitable. If it's not suitable, we will have to go to the other planet. It's just where we're starting, right? We're picking one to begin with. And if we can find it suitable, then we can bring the station there. Although, again, on our side, we're still figuring out how to bring the station there without the back Atmos star system just knowing, because most transports we go through, they just follow along, right? So this has to be different. This cannot be along those same lines. So hopefully Cluster will be able to help us out with that. But you folks prepare today. You'll take off tomorrow towards this sort of mechanical planet. That's all we've got on it so far, so that's what we'll call it. Any other, I guess, questions? And a lot of the officers are nodding. They seem sort of thought-stricken at the moment, but I guess they're shaking their heads. No questions. Do you guys have any questions?
Does anybody want to come with me to the shooting range? I didn't get a chance to use my big gun today.
Shaq says I could go for a shootout if you want to do some practice with me.
Yeah, let's go shoot our big guns.
I'll get the big ones out. Anyone else?
Slippy stands up and leaves.
Shaq follows, and Bear actually also follows.
Yeah, I'll go with. I like to shoot things.
Cola,
Well,
BBW.
It seems that this
BBW comes with them.
meeting is adjourned.
And BBW takes the birthday cake with him.
Marjorie looks after it like, oh.
And now your birthday's over. No, I'm gonna take this
It's
back.
my cake now. It seems so, Agent Cola. And all of the officers go their separate ways. Most thinking about this meeting, prepping as to what is possibly to come. The 3 of you getting some shots in on the shooting range. Cola, as they're preparing on the shooting range, do you do anything special?
Ola's
Don't think
too
so.
hungover to do anything special.
Cola goes home and goes to sleep.
I like that.
Cola needs a nap. Start of next mission, he might get Cluster to kit him out slightly differently with his not right now.
Yeah, with his implants. That makes sense. That makes sense. I think this is a perfect end to this session. So yeah. Next time we will come back and take off on the mission. Cola can be rekitted with what he needs, and we can take off on the mission. It's very exciting.
Yeah. Once more into the breach.
One last time.
Did anyone end of session questions? Did anyone get their alignment? A lot of this will probably just be no, but I'm just checking.
No.
No alignments. Did anyone get a bond?
Not yet.
No.
Yeah, I got 2 of them.
Oh shit. We can only confirm one, but what 2 bonds did you do?
Then I'll leave the one about creation. The other one was can I trust Cola? And I think Cola has been a fair and equal moderator.
Cola has proven that I cannot trust him at all.
And now I'm gonna shoot him with my big gun.
On the other hand, this might very well be the last mission, so you might not be able to clear a bond with creation, whereas like
I'm not worried about it.
Okay. Sweet.
I would be surprised if I level up again before it's over.
Yeah, we're gonna have like probably a home base on the next mission in which you guys will be able to level up at the end of sessions or when you're back at that home base, rather than being back here on the station.
Gotcha.
So that is possible to happen out in the field
possibility
on this
then.
next one. But yeah, just a question. No more bonds. Okay. Did we discover something new or important about the universe?
Nope, just kind of reiterating and reframing.
Yeah, just sort of clarifying what we already knew.
Yeah, that Shaq is a little problematic, but he's working on it.
Rake is my new daddy.
Rake is my new dad. Did we get a treasure or overcome an enemy? Are the last 2 questions.
Kevin Rake is our treasure.
Our own hate.
Xenophobia.
Yep. We overcame that a little bit. That's pretty good. I'd like to say that's experience worthy, but I don't know that's the question they're asking.
So it's not.
It's not the question they're asking, it's the question you're asking.
That's true. That's true. That's true. Cool. So what? Slippy got an experience from end of session.
Correct.
Yeah. Cool. And then we'll come back next time and take out on that mission. Sick. Yeah, like I said, that's probably our last mission. I think that like getting the ship to break free from the colony is what I kind of had planned for the finale arc, or the like in an anime I'd imagine a time skip maybe, but that's where we're closing
off. So if we
off.
just kill creation, it'll just be over.
If you guys did something else, I had something else kind of in the wings if you went another direction, but we didn't, so I didn't need to pull that out of the wings. But yeah, I mean, if you just kill creation, I mean, your next mission would be to teleport this thing forward, so I guess we would probably do that and then just probably call it quits. And say that they continue down their path, because I mean, they'd still just go down their path as normal. Maybe. I don't know. Who knows if you just decide to kill creation. Everyone's preparing for the thing, and Slippy's down there with his blunderbuss, like, blasting creation into the wall. Someone just flips on the hyperdrive without asking.
Slippy during the end of this session goes down and activates the hyperdrive.
Click.
Whoopsies.
Oh yeah, we're going to Technology World, right? I'll just set that drive and let's go.
We go there now. Sick. All right. Sweet. We got that down pat and the re-recording. That's
What a
exactly what I
town
needed.
hall.
What a town hall. Yeah, we'll come back next time that we're all available and take off on our next mission.
Fuck
Wow.
yeah.
Nice.
Nice,
GG's.
nice. Good night.